Hello friends, it is I, once again, Catherine Missel, intuitive energy healer, spiritual growth catalyst, and ascending earth creatrix. Hi, I wanted to talk to you today about karma in the new earth. You can't take it with you. This is something that is really, really important for us to anchor into and understand if we want to ensure an easy and graceful process of ascension, moving into the 5D, fifth dimension timeline, which holds the energies of peace and balance and joy and grace, higher communion with higher aspects of self and higher frequency energies, transmissions of light, codes of abundance, all of those good and wonderful things that are aligned with the 5D timeline. They have very, very high vibration energies there in that 5D timeline, less dense, much less dense than what we experience here in 3D. And so when I ask to receive more clarity from my guides and the superconscious collective, which is the God consciousness matrix, the divine matrix energy of the all, the one, about what is so different about the new earth, I get a variety of answers. Yet there is a really common theme there. I usually get a sense and a feeling or an essence that there is this common denominator about 5D. And that's truly that it will feel much lighter. We will be experiencing much less dense energies than what we experience here in 3D. So 5D, fifth dimensional consciousness, supports very high frequency energies of unconditional love, like I mentioned, kindness, mercy, forgiveness, compassion, abundance, joy, ease, flow, grace, and a higher communion with all aspects of spirit. And the emotional baggage that we carry here in 3D consciousness is very heavily influenced by pain, grief, sorrow, chaos, fear, loss, hatred even, anger, and it carries an energetic vibration that is not supported in the 5D timeline of planetary ascension, the ascended new earth. So in other words, you can't take it with you. You can't take those dense, very low frequency energies with you. They simply cannot be supported in 5D. So the shift into the new earth is already happening. It's gaining momentum very quickly. And if you are sensitive to the overall increase in the vibration of the earth, you are feeling this already. And anytime we have major celestial events happening, like at this time that I'm recording this, it is just a week before the super full blood moon that's going to happen on January 31st, 2018, where we're going to have a major convergence of celestial events. And when these events like this happen, they nudge us further into the 5D timeline because it naturally shows us the contrast of all of the dense energy that we're holding. And we have a choice to either stay in that or to move out of it, take the lessons and move out of it. And it's like the universe, with all the love it has and holds for us, nudging us into these very, very high energy transmissions, like we're experiencing with this celestial convergence of events. And when this happens, it's pushing the ascension timeline, or our energy, our merging into this heightened timeline even faster, even further, at an accelerated rate. And so as this is happening, when these events happen, like what's about to happen with a super full blood moon on the 31st, we have this recalibration that's taking place for every sentient being on the planet. So you are feeling this probably already. This is affecting your emotions, your relationships, your physical being as you adjust and calibrate to the increased vibratory rates of your personal ascension process. And as you're doing that, you are informing the collective as well. Your cells are becoming more crystalline as we are experiencing this accelerated merge into the timeline of 5D. Your cells are becoming more crystalline and formed. That's so they can hold more light. They can hold more codes of information. Your DNA is being upgraded. And strands of code, of DNA code, are actually being released from shadow. and allowing you to feel more psychically connected to all sentient beings on this plane, but also with beings in other dimensions, realities, timelines, and space. There is nothing to fear with all this. Sometimes this can sound so big it makes us want to go out of our body, but this is all perfectly in alignment with the process of planetary ascension. And in fact, continuing to align with the vibration of fear ensures that you will stay connected to the old earth, because the old earth is very much entrenched in feelings that align with fear, emotions and vibrations that align with fear. And as I mentioned, this fear and anything aligned with that vibrationally is not an energy that matches the vibration of 5D. So there is a natural byproduct of this whole process of ascension that's happening right now, and that is accelerating as well. And that is the process of collapsing timelines and dissolving energies. So the 5D Earth supports only the highest frequency energies, as I mentioned. And if we are to shift or make the jump into the 5D timeline successfully, we must embrace this process of dismantling or deconstructing, unraveling of old paradigms and structures that hold very dense and heavy energy. And that includes the karma that we carry, sometimes through many lifetimes, that anchors our soul being to this 3D plane. And whatever heartache, shock, trauma, grief, pain, or loss we may have experienced is part of being in the density of this plane. What's more is that some of us specifically chose those experiences of being in grief, shock, pain, or loss, heartache, because we wanted to know what it would feel like. This is a really hard thing for us to anchor into, but it's absolutely true. And so when you move into the energy of that truth, it's really important to just take a deep breath here. This can sometimes make you want to go out of your body, okay, to not be present and go back to forgetting why you came here at this time. And for some of us, that's easier. For some of us, it's easier to forget and to keep forgetting. But that too is your choice to make. But understand, when you do make that choice, you are aligning with the frequencies of the old earth, and you're not necessarily ensuring your process into the shift or the vibration that you need to make in body, mind, and spirit to align with the ascension energies of 5D. So we knew before we even came here that we would forget our divinity and infinite nature that connects us to all that is. We knew that we would be on a journey of awakening to greater levels of truth all the time. Truth of who we are, and the truth of the fact that it would be a journey here in 3D, a journey of remembering more and more of our divinity, more and more of why we're here, more and more about our soul's contract and the agreement that we made with souls and other beings of light before we even came here. We knew that coming here was going to be an emotional training ground, that we were going to be playing in a big sandbox with other people, other souls who came here with a soul's contract as well. And we also knew that we would receive lessons from this experience. In fact, the very lessons we agreed to have. This is all in alignment with our soul's contract for being here. But here's the rub. When we consciously refuse to honor the lesson that we agreed to take part in before we even came, we attach our energy to the wheel of karma, which is a very heavy, very tense, dense energy, and it tethers our souls to patterns and programs that repeat over and over. It's a wheel until we agree to acknowledge the lesson and finish the contract. But we also knew in coming here that we would have free will. So once we made a conscious connection with and acknowledged the karmic cycle that we were in, we would have the power to nullify through our free will choice. We knew that we would have the power to nullify or cancel a contract and thus release the karma if we chose to. Sometimes that lesson just doesn't work out, Or sometimes we forget that we made the contract in the first place, and we may have already learned the lesson, completing the karmic contract, yet on an unconscious level, we keep repeating it over and over again, and we keep tethering our souls to this earthly plane. So we knew that we would have the ability, with our free will choice, to mark a program or a cycle of karma as downloaded and complete. We knew that letting it go would mean that we were free then to have more of our divinity revealed to us, to increase our overall vibration, and ensure our ascension process, to ascend to the 5D earth or to return to source, as is in alignment with our choices. Okay? So take another deep breath and come into your body again, because I know this can be hard to anchor into. So if you allow yourself to just follow the breath, take a few deep breaths in and ground your energy as you let these concepts flood your consciousness. Allow this truth to just gently flood into your awareness. And as you take a deep breath in, you come back into the present and come into your body. Go into your heart space and take a moment to go over your life. As you are connected to the truth about your divinity, here in this space, in this moment, just allow flashes of insight to come into your mind, into your higher mind. Feel into the memories as you allow them to spill into your heart space. Just take a moment and let this happen. It only needs to take place in a moment, in a flash. Does this feel true for you? If you go into your higher mind and that space of the elevated heart, the higher heart, ask yourself, do you want this cycle that you may have awareness of or not have awareness of? Do you want this cycle to continue? Do you feel like you have been giving away your power and your divinity to the idea that life is happening to you instead of for you, dictated by some random and chaotic external force that is anything but loving, kind, and supportive? If so, if you really feel that life is happening to you instead of for you, that you are a victim of random and chaotic external events, if so, if you believe that, then you have been seduced by the illusion of this plane, the illusion of 3D consciousness, the illusion of fear. And you've bought into the fear, the strongest emotion that is affecting human awareness at this time. But even though fear can feel very strong and feel that it puts a veil over in an illusion over all parts of our experience, it is still an illusion. You hold all the power on this plane. We create everything on this plane. We were given that power when we came here, and we knew that when we became incarnate on this plane. We knew that we were the creators of every single aspect of our reality. We knew that we manifest, and we still do, maybe on an unchecked unconscious level. We know that we manifest the entirety of our experience here on this plane. And we get to decide moment to moment on the exact quality of it. So ask yourself, what are you afraid to let go of? Why is it that you would wish to continue with the burden of false expectation that someone or something, some external force will swoop in and save you from yourself? What is the fear in knowing that you are a conscious creator of your experience? Does that feel too big to anchor into? Does it feel like the potential of your greatness would be so colossal that that's more fearful, that creates more fear in you in what you can't have or can't be or can't do? What lessons have you been pretending not to see or know? What experiences have created a cycle that maybe you're now ready and willing to fully acknowledge and then mark downloaded and complete for all time? If you're ready to clear karmic contracts, if you know that you have all the love and support available to you at any given time that is needed for you to accomplish this, that it's there for you when you are ready to make that conscious free will choice to clear the contracts, do you believe that this love and support will show up when you need it most? If you do, then you are anchoring into the truth that You knew that you had all the love and support that you would need to do these things before you came here as well. So understand that if you are not consciously willing to clear your karma for whatever reason, it is your free will choice to do so as well. And in doing that, in making that choice that you're not ready to clear the karma, that you want to stay in the drama, the chaos, or the fear, that if you choose that, understand that you are equally loved by all that is, if that is your choice too. The process of ascension, though, will naturally cause a rift of energies, a separation. So that will mean that some will ascend and others will not, and that will be based on the free will choices of every individual in that ascension process to ascend or not. This does not mean that you are left behind. If you choose not to change your karma, to choose to move out of dense energies and ascend, it means that you have made a conscious choice not to shift your vibration and ascend. That's what that means. So understand that if you're not ready to release this karma or these dense energies, that we still all return to the energy of all that is, and that is a place of pure love and light, ultimately, for all of us. And we will reach that eventually, in whatever way that is best suited for our soul's path and journey, and for what we chose before we became incarnate here on this plane. If you are ready to release karma, I'd like to share a very simple exercise with you. You can either imagine a person or a situation. You can imagine a person in your life that keeps representing a karma cycle, program, or belief or behavior. Imagine that person in front of you, or you can imagine a situation, the energy of a situation or an event, okay? Imagine holding the energy of a shared contract with this person, situation, or event. Before you came here, you agreed to partner with certain souls to help you create the experience you wanted, the experience that you asked for, the lesson you asked to receive. You agreed to certain scenarios or aspects of experience in doing this. So picture the person or the situation and feel into the essence of this person or situation. It doesn't really matter if it's a person or a situation, just as long as you connect with the essence or energy of it and what it represents to you. Okay? And you can say, as you've imagined this person, the situation or event, and having it be right in front of you, present with these energies, say, we tried. We really tried to make it work, but it's not working. I'm tearing up the contract. And then see yourself tearing up the contract. You can close your eyes and see it in your mind's eye. See yourself tearing up the contract and throwing it away or seeing it dissolving. You can imagine lighting it on fire even, okay? In addition, you can ask Archangel Michael to help you cut any hooks, cords, or attachments between you. You can go even further and asking for the help of Archangel Jeremiel, who helps to do life reviews and helps you heal your soul's karma and contracts. You can call him in to help you bring in 100% pure love and light and the ability of clarity and discernment on all the hooks and tethers and cords that are attached to this contract that you hold with this person, event, or situation. And he will bring in further assistance to help you clear the karma. So when you do this, go even further and say, I'm sorry. I forgive you. I release you. I let you go with love. We are no longer connected. And so it is. And then in your mind's eye, see this happening. See Archangel Michael helping you cut all the hooks and cords and attachments that are attached to any of this and the contracts between you. See Archangel Jeremiel helping you to resolve or dissolve the karma. And see that now your karmic contract is complete. Now understand as we go further that this isn't always easy, okay? There is fallout to this, okay? But it's okay. If you understand the process, it's much easier for you to just surrender to the process and not get attached to the fallout that happens afterwards. So there are timelines that will naturally collapse around this dissolving or negating or nullifying of karma. So collapsing the timeline of this karma brings about the dissolution of energy, the dissolving of energy. This is a natural byproduct of this process, okay? This has to happen. So old partnerships and relationships will naturally fall away. Sometimes friends and family will naturally fall away from us. And it's simply because we no longer resonate, or they, I should say, they no longer resonate with the vibration that we are shifting into as we release this karma. And that natural falling away will happen with people, situations, events in our lives. Situations inevitably change. Careers, love life. You may experience upheavals and turmoil as these timelines are collapsing and as you upgrade in your frequency. Collapsing the karma, dissolving the karma, negating the karmic contracts lends itself to naturally you being upgraded in your overall frequency and vibration. So the things that don't match that in your life anymore cannot match where you're going. They will fall away. They will distance themselves from you. Okay? The important thing here is to not get swept up in the fear. This is the ego being pushed out of its comfort zone. We will experience a loss of identity as we naturally collapse these timelines. This is a natural process as well, but it is an illusion. And so we can't get swept up in the fear of it. It's only the ego losing its grip and identity on who it thinks you are, okay? And it'll only feel real if you lean your energy into this happening, this process of dissolving, this process of collapsing the karma. It is only real if you lean into the essence of it while it's happening. And so if you have trouble with this concept, you can listen to my podcast, The Nature of Collapsing Timelines, which is, my podcast is The Abundant Intuitive, and it's on iTunes, Stitcher, and Google Play. And you can listen or read a blog post if you go to catherinemissel.com and go to my blog page. I have the Collapsing Timeline Blues, and that will help you move through this as well. So in order to do all of this and collapse these karmic contracts and these timelines, we have to recognize that we are in a game here in this very dense energy of the 3D timeline, 3D consciousness. And it is a game that we all agreed to come here and be a part of. We agreed to play a part in the density and the illusion of 3D timeline and everything attached to this timeline. We agreed to be players in this game, and we agreed with our soul contracts that we've made and the karma that we have created to enter into this with other soul players in the game. Okay? We agreed to bring certain people into our lives sometimes over and over again to help us play out these lessons until we can finally say, the lesson is complete. I mark it downloaded and complete, or I nullify the contract because it's just not working. And that in choosing to align with other souls in this game, we agreed that some of us would be heroes, some of us would be villains. Some of us would be champions and some of us would be losers. But again, that's part of the duality of the 3D consciousness. In moving into 5D, that duality really doesn't exist. And there is no sense of good, bad, light, dark, good and evil, the hero, the villain. That doesn't exist as we move into 5D timeline. That's simply a way of us categorizing and compartmentalizing our experience here in 3D. But again, that's an illusion as well. It's just part of different aspects of the whole, and those experiences of different aspects and the contrast of those informing us more in the higher mind and being able to see the whole and being able to understand the completion of and the integration of the whole. There is no duality really moving into 5D, just different aspects of the one or all that is. So I hope this has been helpful for you. I hope that you will listen to the podcast talking about the nature of collapsing timelines and read the blog that talks about the collapsing timeline blues. This will help you to anchor into these concepts a little bit more. And I urge you that when you listen further or when you read further, that you open up the higher aspect of mind. You open up the higher, elevated, higher heart in order to receive the truth of these energies for your soul's expansion and growth. It will make a lot more sense to you that way instead of trying to intellectualize it with the rational mind, which is totally aligned with ego and 3D consciousness. It will feel very uncomfortable for you to try to anchor into these concepts if you're trying to disseminate this information to the ego mind. It will feel very uncomfortable and very rigid and very confining. And as always, if you have questions or comments, please check out more of what I do. You can leave your comments here in the post, or go to my website, catherineMassel.com, and read all of the posts that I have in my blog. There are so many in there now. And check out my Abundant Intuitive podcast for more intuitive insight and downloads from Source. I want to wish you all so much love and light. Bye-bye.